K-pop Demon Hunters is about to flip everything you thought you knew. Because new info just dropped, revealing Huntrix was never meant to be a trio. Netflix insiders confirmed the truth. There was always supposed to be a fourth member. And today, we're exposing who she really is. Roomie's older sister, starting with the hidden backstory the movie quietly buried. We're told over and over that Huntrix is perfectly balanced. 3 girls, 3 powers, 3 personalities. The story wants us to believe that 3 is the magic number. But the moment you zoom out, something starts to feel wrong. Because every iconic K-pop group Netflix keeps pointing us toward as inspiration follows the same rule. Blackpink has 4 members. Not 3, 4. That matters, especially in a franchise that's obsessed with symmetry, formation, and balance. And then there's the concept art. Every member of Huntrix is represented by a specific color. Mira in black, Zoe in azure turquoise, and Roomie in white. Now get a load of this. In Korean mythology, there are 4 divine creatures, also known as the 4 symbolic beasts: the white tiger of the west, the azure dragon of the east, the black tortoise of the north, and the vermilion bird of the south. These aren't just mythical mascots. They represent balance, protection, and harmony. Each one governs a direction, an element, and a role. And once you understand that framework, Huntrix starts to look a lot less accidental. Now watch what happens when you line this up with the characters. Roomie's story and visual language clearly tie her to the white tiger. The tiger represents courage, leadership, and sacrifice, a guardian that stands at the front lines. Roomie is consistently portrayed as the one who moves first, absorbs the most damage, and bears the emotional burden of the group. Even her aesthetic cues, her ferocity in battle, and the way the camera centers her in moments of crisis all echo the symbolism of the white tiger as a protector of the West and a harbinger of fate. Zoe, on the other hand, aligns almost perfectly with the azure dragon. The dragon symbolizes power, ambition, and overwhelming force. Her hero pose, especially the way she holds her 6 blades, 3 in each hand, mirrors the extended clawed stance often used to depict the azure dragon in traditional art. She fights with forward momentum, confidence, and raw dominance, exactly what the dragon archetype represents. Then there's Mira. Her design makes this one almost too obvious to ignore. The black tortoise represents endurance, defense, and longevity. Mira's darker color palette, her shell-like armor, and her grounded fighting style all map cleanly onto this guardian. She's the one built to withstand pressure, to hold the line when everything else is collapsing. So let's take inventory. White tiger, accounted for. Azure dragon, accounted for. Black tortoise, accounted for. Which leaves only one guardian unaccounted for. The vermilion bird, also known as the phoenix. And that's where things stop feeling coincidental. The phoenix represents rebirth, fire, sacrifice, and return. It is the only one of the 4 whose mythology revolves around death, followed by resurrection. And according to insiders, the sequel will introduce a new 4th member who represents this final guardian. Not a replacement, not a background addition, a missing piece. If Huntrix was always meant to embody the 4 symbolic beasts, then the trio we see now isn't the original design. It's what survived after something went wrong. A formation that once had balance, now operating with a hole where the phoenix should be. So the question isn't whether a 4th member is coming. It's why the phoenix is missing in the first place. Every member of Huntrix represents something very clear. One is the leader, one is raw power, one is a strategy. Their roles are defined, their dynamics clean. On paper, the team looks complete. But when you break it down, there's a glaring absence. There's no protector. Not the one who attacks first or plans the fight, but the one who steps in front when things go wrong. The shield. The emotional anchor. The person whose instinct isn't victory, but survival for everyone else. That archetype is missing from Huntrix. And in a story this carefully constructed, missing roles don't happen by accident. Because the way Roomie acts fills in that gap. She overextends. She absorbs damage. She carries responsibility that shouldn't belong to her alone, almost like she's compensating for someone who used to stand there instead. Here's the theory. And once you hear it, it explains everything. Roomie didn't grow into the role she's in now by choice. She was pushed into it. Because her older sister, who was supposed to be a member of Huntrix, was gone. She was supposed to be stronger, more experienced, the protector the team would have been built around. But somewhere, at the beginning of all of this, something terrible happened, and that older sister was taken away. Whatever it was catastrophic enough to force Huntrix to be restructured. Roles were shifted. The narrative was cleaned up. That explains why Roomie overcompensates, why she leads and protects, why she carries guilt that feels inherited rather than earned. She's not reacting to pressure. She's reacting to a legacy that broke in front of her. And it explains why the movie treats Roomie's past like it's radioactive. Training? Yes. Pressure? Constant. Fear of failure? Obsessively explored. But family? Silence. Because bringing up her sister would mean reopening the wound that nearly destroyed Huntrix in the first place. Netflix didn't just erase a character, they erased a mistake. A reminder that Huntrix was never meant to survive as three, and that Roomie has been living in the shadow of the moment everything went wrong. Now this is the part that will leave you speechless. The older sister may have been born first, naturally stronger and more experienced, but also more difficult to control. Her demonic powers could have emerged early, powers that even she couldn't fully manage. She wasn't a villain or a threat in a conventional sense, but her instability would have been dangerous, not just to herself, but potentially to everyone around her. But where is the older sister now? After all these years, and with Roomie being a global sensation, she's bound to be somewhere waiting to make her debut on screen. What if I told you Roomie's older sister isn't just out there somewhere, but has been hiding in plain sight this entire time? Not locked away in a demon realm, not standing beside Guima in some ominous cave, not glowing with obvious red flags and villain music. Instead, she chose the most dangerous option of all, living as a normal human. Think about it. Brown contacts to mask the yellow demon eyes? Easy. Normal clothes instead of ceremonial armor? Done. Blending into crowds, classrooms, streets, and concerts without setting off a single alarm? Perfect execution. She doesn't look like a threat because she understands the system better than anyone else. Hunters are trained to spot monsters that announce themselves. They're not trained to suspect the quiet girl who keeps her head down and her emotions locked tight. In a world full of dramatic demons, she's the only one smart enough to disappear completely. And that's what makes her terrifying. If this theory holds, then she could be anyone. The nameless face in the crowd. The background character you never paid attention to. The girl the camera lingered on for just half a second too long before cutting away. The one who always felt slightly off, but never enough to trigger alarm bells. The kind of character you ignore on your first watch, and then regret overlooking once the reveal hits. This goes all the way back to the Sunlight Sisters, the legendary hunters who came before Huntrix ever existed. If you look closely at that old photograph, you can spot Celine, Roomie's adoptive mom, and Myong, who we know didn't just die, but was taken out because of Celine. But there's someone missing from that picture, someone who rarely gets talked about, the third Sunlight Sister. And according to inside sources, she didn't disappear. She made a choice. She's the one who took Roomie's older sister and vanished, raising her in secret, far from the spotlight, far from Celine, and far from anyone who could use her demon lineage against her. While Celine pushed Roomie into fame and control, the third sister did the opposite. She protected the twin by keeping her invisible. And that leads us to the real mindbender. Storyboard notes reveal the older sister knew about Roomie while she was still a child, because the third Sunlight Sister told her the truth. No sugarcoating. No, you're too young to know. Meanwhile, Roomie was kept in the dark her entire life, which means this whole time, the twin has been watching from afar, tracking Roomie's rise, knowing about Mira and Zoe, even showing up to Roomie's concerts, unnoticed, unrecognized, sitting somewhere in the crowd. Let that sink in. Roomie grew up believing she was completely alone. No family, no blood, no one left. But her sister has been preparing for their reunion since childhood. And then there's the next secret, the one that flips everything. Roomie's demon fighting skills are already insane. But her sister? She's on another level. Same bloodline, same heritage, but way more raw power. Except here's the twist. She refuses to use it. Because she's known the truth since she was little. Their father died trying to prove demons could love. Roomie learned that lesson later through Gu, especially when he sacrificed himself for her. But the twin? She grew up with that truth, so she won't raise a blade against demons, not even when she could wipe the floor with them. Which means when these two sisters finally meet, it's not just going to be emotional, it's going to be explosive. Two sisters, same blood, opposite beliefs, one raised in the spotlight, one raised in the shadows, and a destiny that's been colliding since the very beginning, whether Roomie knew it or not. So buckle up, because when that moment comes, the story we thought we knew will explode, and Roomie will finally have to face the consequences of the truth that's been kept from her entire life. The question isn't if the sister will return. The question is when and whether Huntrix and Roomie herself will survive the reckoning. If you want to uncover more hidden secrets, unexplained mysteries, and deep dives into your favorite characters, make sure to follow the channel and check out our other theories. You won't want to miss what we've uncovered next.